Hey everybody, it's Eric again, and today we're going to continue on with the Flappy Bird game that we were starting to create. We're going to do a few things today. Um, One of them is I'm not happy with the art assets that I had originally. It was going to require some modifications, so I actually found a new texture pack that I think is going to work a little bit better, and also a font that I want to use for things like I think primarily keeping score. The other thing that I want to take care of today on this shorter stream is getting the repo set up for Git source control. That way, all of our changes are saved, and reverting any changes that don't work out can be a piece of cake. And also, so I can share the project with anyone who's interested in following along. So, with that, let's dive right in. Okay, so here on the desktop, I've got a few things. I've got the new texture pack I'd like to use and a font that I'd like to use. So I'll go ahead and grab this font and install it. Okay. Now I'm going to open up Unity and get our project loaded. Unity, you're already imported everything. Okay, there we go. Unity all loaded up. So the first thing that I want to do is load up the proper scene. There we go. Now with this guy up, what I want to do is pull in the art assets that I had, bring them into the sprites. That in the tile set there. Okay, now that tile set's there. I believe this is 512 by 512. Okay, so like yesterday, you're gonna set the pixels per unit to 16. The filter mode to point, change the max size to 512 and the compression to none. Also going to change the sprite mode from single to multiple and open up the sprite editor. Apply those changes there. And here's all of the art assets. Unlike the texture pack from yesterday that was laid out in like a clean 16 by 16 grid, this is kind of all over the place. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the grid by cell size, I'm gonna use the automatic and let this try and slice it up on its own, because these are pretty cleanly separated from one another. So it should make a nice slice around everything. Okay. Looks like it. Looks like it did a nice job of outlining everything. Let's see, these numbers, are they 12 by 18? Yep, these are all 12 by 18. These pipes are cool. These are 17 by 12. All right. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that and close this. Now, actually don't mind the background that I was using or the ground, but I would like to raise this background up just a little bit. city view in there. There we go. That looks good. Okay, with that in place, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and replace that ground sprite with that sprite. Adjust this just a little bit. Eventually I want this to kind of move across slowly. We'll take care of that in a later video, I think. Scale tool. Take tool. Yeah, I think this is the one I want. Usually that uniformly by default, I thought. Oh well. What can you do? Alright, so that looks pretty good there. Alright, I think that was the only tile that was being used out of this guy, so I'll go ahead and delete this. Next, I'm going to take our player here and actually with this animation, get rid of these, and in the new tile set, grab these three right here, drop them into place. Is the deal. Let's see, actually first things first, drop that guy in there. Then, okay, I liked that a little better. Zoom in here, make sure this animation still looks decent. Yep, that looks good. Okay. So that means that these player sprites are no longer needed, so I can drop those out. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and keep that background because I like that. It looks nice. It's cool. Bring this up just a little bit. There we go. Maybe bring that ground just a little bit. This seems to be taking up quite a bit of the screen there. So that looks good. Now I can bring that background down again just a little bit. That's good. All right, that'll work. Okay, there's that. Tiles have been replaced. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to take care of real quick from yesterday is I had some issues with the space bar. When I was hitting it, it wasn't always firing, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, it turns out, and let's pull up the script so we can see that a little easier. Let's see. Got JetBrains Writer installed, right? Yeah, that's what I used yesterday. Okay. Let's see. Preferences, external tools. Ah, okay. Change it to Writer there. Okay, now if I open this guy up, we can dig into this a little more. Okay, so yesterday what I did was in the fixed update, which is the physics loop, I've done the input get button jump. The problem though is that the fixed update, it happens at a consistent interval of I think it's like 50 frames a second. It's not quite the same pace or speed as the game loop itself, the render loop. So what I want to do, or what I need to do, is rather than get the input inside of the fixed update, I want to do it in the update, because what happens is what I was using the get button down function, and it was actually skipping. It returns whether or not the button was pressed down that frame, and the fixed update doesn't always happen every frame. It runs off kilter from the frames per second. So what it will do sometimes is actually you can hit the button and the fixed update won't see it, because it'll come around to the next loop and that frame didn't actually have the button pressed during it. So that it's as if you didn't press the button. So that's why I was like, why is this not working? So rather than in the fixed update, I want to just do this in the update. And then if I do get button down, we should see a little bit of a difference here, or it should actually work consistently this time, hopefully. So I'll play this. Yeah, see now, rather than skipping frames, it just always works. So that's cool. That's one thing that I picked up from yesterday. Okay, so that actually gets the issues that I was having. Now the next thing that I wanted to do was to go ahead and add save this repository, make it a Git repo, and then push it up to GitHub so that it's accessible by everyone. Now what I want to do here is actually go to my command prompt, my nice pretty command prompt that we put together in the first day, and go to the Flappy Bird directory, and we see that we've got a nice pretty view of the path. Now if I do a git init, we see that we, in addition to that, the directory information, we actually have some git information here. Now when you first create you first initialize a repository, we can see there's a lot of untracked files in here, but most of these files I don't actually want to keep inside the Git repository, because they're files like logs or temp or obj. Those are all created on the fly whenever Unity and the C# compiler is compiling its code and stuff. So don't actually want to store that stuff in there. So normally what I do is I come out to GitHub, Unity git ignore, and GitHub actually provides a default git ignore file, which is a file that tells Git a list of files or directories, or in the case of, you can use wildcards like files with certain extensions. Just ignore all of this stuff and don't actually store it in the Git repository. So if I click on the raw view here and I copy this, I can come over here to my file system view here and add in a file and call it git ignore. And I do want to add git ignore to Git, so put all of my files and folders in here. Now if I come over here and do git status, we can see that that list of files that it thinks should be committed has reduced considerably. A lot of these temporary directories have been removed. So now with that, what I can do is git add dot, and that'll add all of those files to my repository. Now if I run git status, I can see that the list of files in my project have been staged. They're ready to be committed. They're not committed yet. So I'll go ahead and do my first commit. Initial commit. Actually wants some information here. Actually, I think what I'll do is blast my, well, I guess that's fine. Big global user.email and get big global user.name. Now if I do my commit, it'll actually, it'll work there. And now there's nothing to commit. We can see that okay, that's good. So now I have a local repository that contains all of the project files that I have. So what I want to do next is actually go to GitHub. And I'm going to sign in real quick. So rather than blast out my login information, I'm going to pause the screen real quick while I log in here to GitHub. Okay. Here we go. So here's my great big old GitHub repository. Now I'm going to add a new repository, and we'll call this Flappy Bird clone. I'll make that public. I'll go ahead and create the repository. What I'm going to do now is actually follow the directions that GitHub provides here. Do git remote add origin at github.com boy flappy bird clone.git, and then change the branch from the master to main, and git push u origin main. Oh yes, that's right. I don't have my git keys set up. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. I want to blast my keys on the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick. We should do a tutorial on how to set up SSH keys and whatnot for GitHub. Almost done here. Got my Git key set up there. Now I should be able to push U origin main. There we go. Now I go back to GitHub. Repo here. You can see that all of the files have been stored. So cool. That gets our project into GitHub. So I think that is all that I'll be taking care of today. I just wanted to do a quick stream because I wanted to get everything committed into Git and also get the assets updated. So with that, I think that that'll do it for today. I'll be back tomorrow to do the pipes. We're gonna move the pipes along the screen and get the player scoring points. So thanks everyone. Have a good day.